All right, so this is Matt Schutte, once again here with Jarod Holtz. We were just talking about life choices, and in particular, Jarod's choice not to have gone and done a postdoc, at least not as of yet, in political science or political theory. And I said, well, that's kind of, we're sort of doing that anyway. And you were going to say something, Jarod. What, you want to dive into it?
I'll try. It was definitely in a special space seconds ago.
I know. Don't worry about the camera. Just talk to me. Just talk to me.
No, yeah, not like that. I've held on tightly to this idea that the 8 years I spent working by myself, but thinking very macro level and trying to think of different ways about these threats and these issues that humanity is going to deal with in the next decades. And I've held tightly to the belief that by not doing something in a structured setting, it allowed me to think much on a much grander scale and on a much more creative scale than I could have had I been within, some sort of organization or structured setting. And maybe that's correct, maybe it's not. Like, the negatives of that is that I fucking swam around in every different direction, felt like I was drowning on many occasions, because I didn't have that structure. That structure is so helpful in many respects, and has obviously resulted in many amazing feats for humanity in general when individuals are working within those structures. But I've felt that by not going that direction, that I might have been able to grasp something that would have been much more difficult to find in another setting.
Okay, so I'm going to use words that are a little less abstract. Academia.
That's right.
Instead of setting within that stringent structure, trying to gain the recognition and approvals that the whole institution steers you toward might not have given you the free rein to search and explore quite like you've been able to outside of that academic institution. Yeah?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly.
What are some of the things that, like, what are some of the things you think you've stumbled upon in the last 8 years, in the last year, that might not have happened within that setting? Is part of it that within an academic setting there is, despite it being like a bastion of diversity, it's a bastion of diversity in a very specific way?
That's right.
You know what I mean? Like, do you feel like you would have had less diversity in terms of what you were exposed to, almost?
Yeah, and it seems like it's difficult to span different subject matters and subject universes when you're in one department, because that one department is part of that larger organization and is trying to view the entire world through that lens, which is valid, but at the same time, I think it naturally is going to limit the options for where you might end up, because I think ultimately humans are not like that. Like, our lives are impossibly
intertwined,
melted between all those different those lenses, whether it's religion and spirituality and politics, but then also economics. Like, all those things fucking get mushed together in ways that are very difficult to untangle. Psychology,
all the psychology, and all of the recent push into bringing psychology basically into economics, right? All the behavioral economics stuff.
Well, and just the hard sciences and the humanities, or whatever you want to call those two realms, they don't mix much, but in the real world, they're constantly mixing.
Yeah. And it's funny because I think that universities are recognizing that more and more, and they're trying to change their structures, but that doesn't change the fact that intermixed, interdisciplinary approach is not their structure at present. It's not the way that they approach the world, and it's not the way that people are rewarded, incentivized, graded, whatever, within that structure, right? If you're doing something that really pulls across many different areas, that's really cool, but it might not fit cleanly into the box that you're trying to get credit for fitting cleanly into.
Well, not only that, to be somebody recognized in any one of those subjects, you have to become an expert. And to become an expert, you have to fucking dedicate your life to that subject. There's no way around it. Like, you can't. It's really difficult to sprinkle between all those different subjects or way of looking at the world and come away with anything that's competitively valid. You know.
Yeah. Because in order for it to be novel, it's got to be that one little nodule that
for sure
gets dug up that nobody else has dug up before.
That's right, and that's the positive, right? Like that's humanity pushing forward in amazing ways.
Yeah.
Because single individuals and groups of individuals are working together on like one little nugget, and that's how that nugget gets like polished and shown off to the world
and deliver it to everybody else. Yeah.
And makes it applicable to whatever it might be applicable to, even if it wasn't what they had originally intended.
Sure. I'm going to point out that this is another session of unFLTRD. This one, this might be the right format for this. These little snapshot conversations, honestly. Short, plenty of F-bombs, actually unFLTRD. That lets you know that it is off the cuff, and we're capturing kind of the stream as it's pouring out of the hillside, and not once it's been bottled and put through a faucet. So. Cool. Any last thoughts, Jay?
That's all I got.
Sweet.